Back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people and some of the country's biggest stars. We spoke to him last September with a bombshell interview where we revealed the new album was called OTIS and he wouldn't be going back on tour with Westlife. And then about 2 days later, he trumped the whole interview by going on Dancing on Ice, and you told me nothing about it, Brian. You're very naughty.
I wasn't allowed to tell anyone about it. We were sworn to secrecy, which I never understand why they do that, because it makes no difference. If people are going to watch the show whether they know who's on it or not, I never understood that.
It's one of those things as well, as if it leaks, it makes no difference to them leaking it. It's leaked regardless, isn't it?
Absolutely. If anything, it just causes a little bit of excitement so people know who's on it.
I have to say, in a manly kind of way, you are looking delicious. This did you well, this programme, didn't it?
Well, I tell you, when you put ice skates on your feet and you train for 6 hours a day, it does help you lose a bit of weight and tone up. Now, I'll be honest with you, I could have probably done a lot better, but I pretty much drank and ate pizza every day. And if I hadn't done that, I probably could have looked a lot better.
You used this as a free minibar, basically, didn't you, this whole thing?
Well, it's the perks of the job, you know. I had the time of my life, absolutely. You know, I think, you know, obviously people see it falling and people see the hard side of it, but in general, it was an absolutely incredible experience. You know, it's to learn a new skill like that and to go out, and it was like a pantomime every Sunday night. You know, you get in these amazing costumes, like dressing up like Elvis and a geek, and you know, and having fun. I absolutely loved the whole experience. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
I presume the Panto producers have been on the phone to you, because, I mean, you look so good in leggings. I mean, you were born to be Dick, really, weren't you?
Yeah, no, I think Panto's not my street, to be honest with you. I think I've had my fun dressing up now. I think I'm going to go back to the jeans and the shirts and back on stage. It
will be interesting, because when you're in that bubble for what was probably nearly 6 months by the time you started training and got out of it last weekend, it's going to take a bit of readjustment, really, because you are completely 100% involved in those shows.
It is. It does take over your life. You know, it was every single day, and especially the last few months. You know, the last few months I didn't even leave the studio. We were actually living in the hotel right next to the studio, and we were there from 8 o'clock in the morning, and some nights we wouldn't leave there till maybe 10 o'clock. So it does become a huge part of your life. And I think a lot of us, I'm still speaking to a few people. Like I've had James Jordan and Jane Danson on the phone the last couple of days, just talking about how surreal it is to go back to the real world, the normal world again. You know, it's quite a strange feeling to try and readapt into normal life again. It's almost like coming out of prison. A little bit.
With one exception, I think it was a beautiful cast this year, and I thought it had a terrific energy. It seemed like it was a lot of fun, and even James proved, you know, the arsehole pill can be swallowed, and he came out of it beautifully, didn't he?
Yeah, well, look, this was fantastic for James Jordan, because I've known James for a long, long time, and you know, obviously he's his own worst enemy as well, because he loves playing that, you know, that straight-faced banter where he's, you know, being sarcastic and winding people up all the time. But he's one of the most beautiful people on the planet. He really is. And I was really glad that people got to see the real James Jordan this show, and not the guy who even I didn't like when he was in Big Brother. You know, he is actually a great guy, and he deserved to win the show so much, because he went over and beyond what everyone else did to get to how good he was. And people might think that he had an advantage because he was a dancer, but I can tell you now he didn't. The only difference that he had compared to the rest of us, he had more beautiful lines in his arms, that's about it. But when it comes to actual skating, he learned from the very beginning like everyone else.
And also, I mean, the discipline and skill of that show, you can't fake it. No amount of gobshiting on Twitter is going to make you get to the final of that show. And he proved what a beautiful dancer he was, as you say. A huge thing for him. I mentioned the one I'm not so into, Gemma Collins. I mean, it's an interesting 50-50. Did she make the series or ruin it? I think will be debated for a long time. There's no doubting it did brilliantly for ratings and got everybody talking about your programme. So I suppose ITV must be thrilled.
Yeah, of course. Listen. As you said, you can either love Gemma or hate Gemma, and I love and hate both people. There's the Gemma Collins who, you know, I would sit backstage with and talk, and is the loveliest person, and then there's the GC who's this kind of weird character that comes out and kind of annoys everybody. But you know, at the end of the day, people watch the show for different reasons. There's 12 different celebrities on the show. I'm sure there are people who love Gemma and watch the show for that. As the same as there's people who watch to see great ice skating like James Jordan and Wes Nelson. You know, so everyone has their own bag on why they watch the show. And she was a huge part of why the show was so successful this year.
Have you come to a conclusion whether she's 80% Arsehole, 20% Gemma, or the other way around, or is it all an act? Is there any conclusion having spent a few months with her?
Yeah, the GC is all an act. It's a character. Look, it's the same. People have gone through their life like this, playing a character forever. Simon Cowell did it. I know Simon as well. The Simon Cowell I knew, when I would sit in the office and we talk about songs, is not the same guy who used to be Mr. Nasty on X Factor. The same as Jason Gardner. Jason Gardner's not like that when he's off stage. It's a character. It's what they do. It's their job, And if you meet Gemma Collins, which most people won't, because you won't meet the real Gemma Collins unless you get behind the mask that she puts on.
Yeah.
The real Gemma Collins is a lovely, beautiful woman, but the GC, unfortunately, is the one that takes over the most,
Well, we're talking about it, and I suppose that's the whole point, isn't it? It's the Katie Price effect. As long as we're talking, it doesn't...
That's what she wants. That's what she wants.
Let's get back to music. I mean, I listened to this album again today. I heard it just before it was released, and I said to you at the time, your voice is so beautiful and so soulful, and there's no better tunes to sing, really, than Otis Redding, and that's what you do in this new album. What reaction have you had from Dancing on Ice? Has it actually affected sales of the album? Have people realised that Brian McFadden is not only an ice skater, but also a singer?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought originally that the fact I was doing Dancing on Ice might be a good thing when I'm bringing out an album, because it would draw some attention to it. But actually, it worked the opposite way, because first of all, the week the album came out, I literally was skating for 6 hours a day, because it was, coming to the last few weeks. So I didn't even get to do any press or promo or interviews. I did nothing for the album. And any time I did anything, all the attention was all about my time on Dancing on Ice. So it kind of overshadowed the release of the album. So, that's fine. I don't mind that. I've as I say, Dancing on Ice is over now. I've hung up my skates and I'm going back on the road now. So I get to talk about the music, which is what I wanted to do in the first place.
Yeah. When they offered you Dancing on Ice, I think other than Strictly, it's the most credible of all the sort of disciplined reality shows. It's certainly the other end of the spectrum to Celebrity Big Brother. Was there a point when you thought, I'm above this, or I don't need to do it? Or did you know that it would be a way of just getting in people's home on the number one show on ITV?
I think, it depends on, it's the same as all these shows. I guess it depends on what your reasoning for going on a show like that on. If you're going on there because you want to be famous, that's one thing. Or if you're like Gemma Collins, where it's to boost your profile and, try and get more stuff like that, that's fine. Or there's some people that need to do it for the money. And to be honest with you, I didn't need to do it for the money. The main reason I wanted to do it was it's exciting to be involved in something like that. When you do the same thing for 20 years, I've been 20 years every night going on stage singing or in a studio and doing the same thing all of the time. It's a nice, exciting time, when you're building up every week to this Sunday show. It is a bit like doing a panto, it's something that you're out of your comfort zone for, and it brings a little bit of excitement into your life. And I had the time of my life doing it. I really, really did. Even though I was full of nerves every Sunday night, and it was lots of pressure, and there was lots of hard times during, obviously, with injuries and stuff. Overall, I would look back at it as one of the greatest experiences I've ever done in my life, and I'm so glad I've done it. And if I had the choice, I would definitely do it again.
Interestingly, you're going to be back on the road doing these gigs, and this is where you're really in your own element with a microphone in your hand singing these great songs. You're going to start at the Cavern Club in Liverpool on the 10th of April. I mean, it doesn't get better than that, does it? When you walk in there, that's got to be an atmosphere.
It is. I've been quite lucky to play a few places like that before. Obviously you play, when I was in Westlife, we played all the big venues, and that's great. But when you play places like the Cavern, you walk in and you can feel it's just drenched in history, to think that the Beatles started there, and some of the amazing people that have been on that stage. It's an incredible feeling to know that you're doing it as well. It almost feels like an achievement and another little tick you can put on your checklist of the things you wanted to do in your life.
And then what's next? I mean, more touring, a new album. I mean, you've still really got a lot of legs to go with the Otis album. What's your plan now? Because, of course, when you come out of a show like that, the world's your oyster. You've got choices to make and a direction to take. What are you thinking at this point, or is it too soon?
No, well, the good thing about the way of the world, in the old days, we would have to make a record, and it would take months to make the record, and then you'd almost have to promote that record for a year or 2 years and keep putting out singles. But because of the way the music industry works now, is you could almost have 3 albums out in 1 year. You know, you just make a record, and when you make music, you can just keep putting it out because it's so fast. You know, you literally can put it straight on the Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, all of this overnight. So for me, yes, I've got the Otis album now, and I'm touring with the band doing these Otis songs, the soul band. But obviously, I'm still working with Keith Duffy on Boyslife as well, and we're discussing putting out a new album this year as well, which would obviously be completely separate from what I'm doing with Otis. I'd be doing my soul music and my solo music with my soul band, and then Keith and I maybe do something a little bit more closer to what I did in Westlife and what he did in Boyzone. And right now, at the moment, Keith and I, between my solo career and Boyslife, we're basically gigging right through till March next year. And I go to Australia, started touring Australia as well. At the end of the month, we're off to Australia. Boyzone are doing their farewell world tour, and I'm going on a special guest doing my solo stuff with them on their arena tour as well.
That's ironic, isn't it? Yeah, that you're doing Boyzone, but you're not doing the Westlife thing. Were you shocked by all the publicity around that? I mean, our interview, in fact, got embroiled in that it became this sort of front-page story. Were you surprised that people were almost vitriolic about it, that you weren't part of that reunion?
Well, not really, no, because people forget, like, last Thursday was the 15th anniversary of the day I left the band. You know, they're only celebrating 20 years together, but I've left 15 years ago, so... Not really, you know. They were together for as four-piece for nearly 3 times the length of time that I was in the band. So it did not make sense to me. I understood the reasoning why they would want to carry on as a four-piece. You know, there's a lot of logistics people are forgetting how difficult it would be if I did come back into the band, because first of all, you'd have to think about the music we'd be singing. You know, I wouldn't have been singing in most of the music that they've produced over the last 20 years. Only the songs I did for the first 3 or 4 albums. Yeah. So, you know, as well, how do you incorporate me into what they've done for the last 15 years? It wouldn't make any sense. So, look, in the end, for them, they're happy to go on as a four-piece, and I'm happy to do what I'm doing. So, I think everyone's happy right now. And they only have to split the money 4 ways now instead of 5. So they're definitely happy.
They've made it. Hey, listen, it's always great to talk to you. Thank you so much for your time, and congratulations. You always seem to come out of these interviews and these shows like one of the most balanced people in show business, and that's not necessarily a given, is it? It's tough to survive this business, and you seem to have a really good handle on it and be in a good place. Is that the case?
Well, I've been doing it for 20 years, and I think I'm the same person I was when I started 20 years ago. I think it's probably got to do with our upbringing. You know, I remember when Westlife blew up first, and we came back to Ireland, and we all had a little bit of a, you know, bit of a strut in our walk, thinking that we were the bee's knees. And it wasn't long till our parents slapped that straight out of us and reminded us who we were. So we've always had very good upbringings where our parents make sure that we know that we're the same kids we were that grew up in Ireland that we are when we're playing Wembley Arena. You know, it's the same people. And I think that's why we're still here 20 years later. We don't take anything for granted, and we appreciate all the success we've had. We don't think that we're special. We just realise that we're very lucky, and we've had a great ride.
And in terms of Boyslife in front of the mirror, you're not doing that old six-pack challenge. Who's the most delicious out of the two of you, are you? That would be very unedifying. I'm
just hoping now that I've lost weight from dancing. I haven't seen Keith since the Boyzone tour ended. I'm hoping he's after getting really fat. I would just love that. I'd love to walk in and go, I'm doing with a six-pack now. You're the tubster.
Karma. Hey, Brian, great to talk to you. Soul Jam is coming live at Boysdale, and you can see that on the 23rd of May 2019. You can get all of the tour dates via the website at brianmcfadden.com. The new album is out now, and it is really tremendous. You've got such a rich and beautiful voice, and it deserves to be heard. Congratulations on anything. I'm so pleased for you.
Cheers, buddy. Thanks a million.